Okay, so what we're going to do is a quick tutorial on how to use Excel to make a chart. All right, so first of all, open up Excel and add your data as you would like it to appear. In this case, I've got time and I've got two data sets. So we're looking at every single minute what the temperature of cooling water and cooling lauric acid is. All right. Generally, you're probably only going to have an X column and a Y column. In this case, I have an X and I have two items that I want to put on the Y. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter all my data, input it in, which of course I've already done. It's very easy to do. If I had another minute here and I had, some more data to put in, I might end up with something that looked like this. Okay, so there's my data. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight my data area, realizing that this first column is by default my X axis or my X data. So I guess you would call this your independent variable. And then here's my two dependent variables or my two Y values. All right, so we're going to click to insert. I want to do a scatter plot because I want to see how these relate to one another. And you have a choice here of what kind of scatter plot you can put in. You can, of course, change a graph at any time. This one is connected by straight lines, this by curved. We're going to go with the straight one here. And there we go. All right, now this is not quite exactly how I want my chart to appear. So before I change anything else, I'm going to change my chart to this one right here. Okay, this gives me a little more data, gives me a value, or a little more information, I should say. Gives me the ability to change my title. So that's what I'm going to do first. Okay, so I want to know what this is called. It is a temperature versus time graph. All right, of course, we always go dependent variable versus independent variable. Okay, my y-axis in this case is my temperature. Okay, and that's measured in degrees Celsius. And my x-axis is time. And this is measured in minutes. All right, let's fix that up, make it look nice. Okay, now we want to know on our graph what our series are actually called. It's a little bit tricky to do that. You got to go to select data, choose your series, and then you got to edit it. So in this case, my first series is water temp. Go OK. You'll notice right away it changes over here. And we're going to go to a series 2. We're going to edit that. And that is lauric acid temp. Okay. So here we go. Okay, looking not too bad. All right, now I'm not quite happy with the range of data here. I would like to compress this a little bit to get a little better view of what we're looking at. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to layout. All right. Now I'm using the newest version of Excel. Yours might look a little bit different, but you can go through and you can find more or less all the same features. So I'm going to go to axis. I'm going to change my vertical axis first. I'm going to go to more options. I'm going to just take a peek here. What is my lowest value? It looks like it's about 39. So I'm going to put as my minimum, I'm going to fix that at 38. I'm just going to close that now, and we get to see a bit more of a spread. I'm okay with how my time looks, so we're pretty good there. What I can also do, if I really want to, is I can go to my primary vertical axis again, and I can make the scale a little bit finer if I want. So I can make the major unit, instead of 5, when I drop it down to 2. Okay, so there we go. Now it's starting to look a little more like I want it to. Now this is probably good enough if you're in math class, and you could probably print this as it is, but if you're doing some IB chemistry, you might want to add something called error bars. So to do that, I simply pop up here to my error bars option. Okay, go to more error bars option, choose which of the series that I want to add error bars to, and it will be both in this case. Click OK. And then I can change some things about the error bar. So I know that my thermometers have a 0.5 degree error. All right. Now I want to include both directions, and I want a cap on these. So I'm going to close it up, and you'll notice I get dual error bars, which I don't want. So I'm going to get rid of my horizontal error bars, and away they go. Okay, so take a peek. There we go. My error bars have appeared. I'm going to do the exact same thing here. Okay. Click on there. change my value 0.5, close that up, and then I'm going to get rid of my horizontal error bars. Still a little bit tough to read. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight these, okay, and I'm going to go into Format. I'm just going to change how these appear. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the weight of my outline way down low. All right, so we'll pop it down to there. Okay, so now we can see our data and we can see that included error bar. All right, and do the same thing here. Shape outline, drop the weight down nice and low. Forget what I did up there, but try to make it look more or less the same. I think it's too high. Just pay attention during this part and you should be good. Okay, so there we go. We've got a data set here laid out in a nice chart. We've included our vertical error bars, our uncertainty, and our values, and we're ready to go. So that about does it for this. Now you can have a bunch of print options. So I can go print chart area somewhere in here. I'll just have to go find that, but that wouldn't be too hard for you to do. All right, so that's it. Thanks very much for listening.